If you are a UX designer in 2024, you can attest to the fact that the market, the job market has been really tough. You have a lot of people staying at home for a year trying to find a job in UX. And it has been pretty tough, particularly if you are targeting tech companies, the Facebook, the Amazon, and all these big tech companies, who are doing layoffs. And I think one of the challenge that I find, quite a number of my colleagues and quite a number of people within the field, one thing I found that people struggle with is they are not able to find alternative or adjacent careers that they're able to transition into very easily. And that's what I thought I could make a video about. I've been doing a lot of research into this, and I thought I could share some light on what are some three careers that you can consider, to get into. These are my rule of thumbs. The career should be something or should be a field that I can easily get into and prove myself as an expert, right? And the next one is, of course, it should be easy, right? The next one is, how much am I going to get paid? I'm not looking to go to, a field that's, it's going to just decrease amount of money I'm going to get. Rather, it should really help me bump up my salary. So yeah, it's something that we need to consider, at least as a second point. The next point is something that a lot of people don't really look at. If you're getting into any field, right, what is the career growth within that field? And even within the current field that you find yourself in. So for instance, if you're a UX designer, what field can you move into that in the next 5 years, when you're trying to get into like a director of product or chief product officer, what career can you get into that is going to help you, become a better chief or director of products in the new company you're getting into? That's what I'm thinking. So if you're trying to transition, the goal here is don't leave, you're not necessarily leaving the field, but then you are getting into something that in the near future, when you market yourself, it's still going to add up to your whole experience. So I want us to consider this and look into, these three careers I think people can really consider when they are trying to transition into a new field as a UX designer. Again, the job market has been tough. You need to find something to get going as soon as possible. You need something that is very easy. You need something that, is going to pay you well. But then you also need something that in the near future, when you are to, come back into UX design and you're trying to get into a senior role, the field should add up to your experience. So let's get into it. First off is a QA tester. Who is a QA tester? So basically a QA tester is, is someone who's ensured that a product, typically, software, is free from bugs, meet all the design requirements before it launches. So as a UX designer, the truth is you do all these things. You do your own QA. You also make sure that, interactions and micro interactions within the app is working. So you do a bit of this. Just that a QA designer who is part of the team, and typically if you're working in a Scrum team, you have a QA tester in there trying to test the software. But then you still have a UX designer yourself playing that role. So you've seen what most of these people do in their day-to-day job. And I think what's great about this role is, it plays to your strength. It plays to your strength when it comes to attention to detail. It plays to your strength when it comes to, just understanding of user experience design, right? So basically understanding, issues that might impact the product experience when it comes to, stuff like broken links, slow loading times, when it comes to confusing navigations. See, you do all these things in your basic job. So with this role, what you're looking at is you don't necessarily need a portfolio, right? Employers want to understand your problem-solving ability and your attention to details. And by being able to align your experience in this role to what you have previously, I think it really puts you in a good shape. One thing here that you need to consider, if you have to come back to UX design when all this layoffs and all this tech market brouhaha is all over, it still adds, a feather in your cap. It's not like you're moving out completely. So I think this is one of the roles that if you're looking for a new role, you need to consider. How do you get into a role like this? Understand all the tools that you need to, use, understand how to write, all the testing, QA test documents, and, just basic understanding user research skills and all those tools. And of course, when you're looking for a job or when you're looking at a company, make sure you go down to understand what tools they are using, glance over it, because most of these tools, we've worked with them already within the UX design field. You can really understand how to use them. So I think I'll encourage people to really consider a QA tester. Next, let's talk about a role that not a lot of people are very familiar with it, and I think it lives in a very security focus area of design. So let's talk about privacy analyst. So who is a privacy analyst? So a privacy analyst is, you're basically helping protect user data. And I think most people don't realize it. If you're working in UX design, most of the work that you do is usually trying to understand what data to collect and how do you even protect it. You do this, but then you don't realize it. So I think that's what makes this field an interesting area to consider. So as within this role, you're helping protect user data and ensuring that your company complies with privacy regulations across the world. One of the most popular ones is the GDPR. California also has its own regulations. There's the ISO, there's NIST, all these privacy regulations out there. And I think those are areas that if you're a UX designer, you kind of have experience with it, because there are times you are learning something around ethics, you are learning something around dark patterns. All these things play into the experience. So your experience with user research also play a huge role, and also just understanding user behaviors, right? The more data you collect, the more you need to find a way to safeguard it. And as a privacy analyst, you can really leverage your experience in building very intuitive user flows that really comes down to collecting user data. All those experiences are going to help. So as a UX designer, you need to figure out what tools do I need to learn to be able to transition in there. One of the most popular tools out there is OneTrust. So OneTrust is a privacy management platform. They have concept like cookie management and all those things. When you are building a website, you do this, you have experience. Okay, how do I even inform a user about the kind of data we are collecting? And that's what cookie management is all about. So for this role, right, one of the key things here is you are trying to ensure trust and safety for users. While it requires analytical thinking, it doesn't require a design portfolio. That's one thing you should know. They have certifications out there that I believe it costs a bit to get in, but then not everybody is trying to look for these certifications. So I think you need to consider that also, how much you are even going to spend to get into this field, and also how easy you can get in. I think if you're able to focus on just even learning OneTrust and all the privacy management tools out there, it can open an opportunity for you to get in. So I think this is one of the roles that not a lot of people are familiar with it. Companies, a few months back, I saw a company like Intel, Dell, and all these companies looking for roles in these areas. But then it's not just big tech. Other companies are also constantly looking for privacy analysts. and I think it's worth looking at. So finally, let's explore the role of a customer experience specialist. It's one of those roles that you think you have experience to get in, but then you also don't have, right? But then as a UX designer, this is one of the roles that you can get into if you prepare a little bit better. Customer experience is not necessarily the same as user experience designer. However, you can leverage all of your experience in this role. So in this role, you are the voice of the customer within the company, ensuring that the interaction with the product or services are smooth and satisfying. As a UX designer, you are designing it, but then as a customer experience designer or customer experience specialist, you are just ensuring that this product that has been developed is smoothly, interacted with. So I think it's one of those unique roles that it doesn't require a portfolio, but then you can really get in and just dominate and be an expert in. Like I mentioned earlier, in this role, if you are to even seek a higher role when you come back into your UX role, it's an easy and a very smooth transition. And of course, your background as a UX designer give you a unique edge in this role because you are the one who designed these products. So making sure that people have a good interaction with it it's quite easy. The best thing again, you are getting your money, you can get in very easily, and also when you want to even go back into your UX field, it's still going to add up to all the experiences. You don't necessarily have to change your role or your title. It's still going to add to the experience that you've had as a product or a UX designer. So this is one of the things. If you have to get into this role, just make sure you're looking at the job requirements. What are the tools that the company is looking out for? What are the specific skills that they are looking out, for you to have? And of course, you need to just, be able to communicate effectively how your experiences from a UX design point of view can easily translate into this point of this experience. So these are the three roles I think, as a UX designer, you can really get into. So if you're struggling to break into the UX design field, I'm hoping that you don't stress out. So consider these three roles I'm thinking about. I just mentioned a QA tester, a privacy analyst, and also a customer experience specialist. So each of these roles leverage a bit of the UX design skills, and it doesn't require a portfolio to get in. Again, my three rule of thumb that I am looking out for is how easy can I get in? Am I even paying more than how much I was getting paid, or how much I would get paid as a UX designer? And also, when I come back into UX design, can I match this experience, or can I leverage all the experiences I gain as a UX designer? So if you found this video very helpful, I hope you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more career tips and advice. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Yeah, let's keep the community going. Really have a wonderful time.